Hi everyone. I'm going to be talking about body-mind centering as a modality of biomechanical healing intervention. Body-mind centering is a healing technique first developed by Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen. She started this work in the 1960s. Her purpose was just to integrate her passions together. She really loved dance and yoga and psychology and movement analysis. And she created these things together to formulate this system of healing. And since then, she founded the School for Body Mind Centering in 1963, and today it still continues to train practitioners, movers, physical educators how to create and cultivate a healing environment within a movement modality. So whether this be in a dance room or yoga or a psychological hospital, there are many, many different ways that body-mind centering can be implemented for healing intervention. A quote that I found by Bonnie Bainbridge Cohen that I really was drawn to, I think really sums up her work is, quote, "The mind is like the wind and the body is like the sand. If you want to know how the wind is blowing, look at the sand," end quote. And really, I think you'll see as I talk about it a little bit more why that quote really sums up the heart of this work. So body-mind centering uses principles of the body's own intuitive wisdom in order to heal mispatterned or misused tissues of the body. So this system was not designed to address very specific health issues. Rather, it's designed to create balance in areas of dysbiosis with the body that could be triggering or causing diseases. So the work uses fetal and developmental movement patterns in order to facilitate body awareness, and it acknowledges 7 different body systems. It acknowledges skeletal, muscular, ligamentous, organ, endocrine, fluid, and nervous. Healing can occur by tonifying these body systems and bring areas of balance to the body or the mind that have been damaged by physical misuse, injury, stress. So it becomes a creative outlet and encourages participants or practitioners to tune into their primal nature and identify the root causes of physical and emotional pain. While other somatic modalities use body-mind centering, only movement therapists have gone through the school can really say that they have been trained and practice body-mind centering as a healing modality. So while other movers can take principles and derive ideas from the system, really you need to go through this training, which takes about at least 2 years to complete. It's very near and dear to my heart. I've used it, principles of it in moving, and I actually dream one day of going to the Body Mind Centering School and being trained with this, but it does take a while. It's a process, and 2 years is a rather short period of time. Many completed a little bit longer. It's a series of workshops. So professionals who may benefit from this training, amongst many, are physical therapists, occupational therapists, any type of movement therapist, whether it's a dance or yoga, psychologists, yoga instructors or dance instructors, and really any other somatic movement practitioners. And somatic movement is just body-mind connection. So body-mind centering, it really sheds a new light on diagnostic and analytic process for the work of various types of healers. So by walking a classroom or a group of people or even one-on-one through these exercises, healers can really get to know this person by using psychology and using movement analysis to read in between the lines and to even get across to nonverbal patients and just address things that maybe these individuals don't want to talk about, but will move about and express through these exercises. Ninoska Gomez, she was a journalist and practitioner of body-mind centering, states, quote, "BMC, body-mind centering, techniques are based on the premise that in order to learn about the body, it is necessary to have experiential knowledge of its functioning and development," end quote. So this knowledge is cultivated through the exercises, and they're designed to bolster embodiment with all 7 of these body systems that it addresses. So it does that through that somatic body-mind connection. The principles based on embodiment drive these exercises, and they correspond with them. Gomez describes this experience of embodying as, quote, actualizing the motor expression of our sensations, end quote. Exercises are created to address the reality of the common misuse and effort within these systems. So, for example, our lungs are, 3-dimensional. We are 3-dimensional beings. However, when we take a deep breath, we tend to only use the lateral motion of our lungs. Or we take a really shallow breath, and instead this work tries to provoke individuals who are practicing to fill and really use the full expansion of the lungs, because, the lateral motion may be getting tired, but the other spaces that aren't being filled, they're being misused, they're being underused, and we're really not reaping the benefits of a full deep breath. That's just one example. Other examples are muscular misuse or skeletal misuse, even lymphatic, so the fluids in our body. It gets right down to the cellular level, and it's really powerful work. The same idea, again, it translates into all of these systems, and it's really fundamental to physical educators. It's more than training for the practitioner. It offers creative expression, systemic health, and somatic awareness. So while mobility is pertinent in this work, right, we are driving the fullest use of our physical body, there's also a really huge psychological component, which Bonnie really loved in this work. The philosophy recognizes that physical and psychological bodies are intuitively connected. Dr. Candace Pert, she's the former chief of brain biochemistry at the National Institute of Mental Health, has done extensive research on these complicated connections. So these are really intrinsic connections between the physical and emotional body, as we know from studying holistic health. And her findings show that, quote, neuropeptides and their receptors are a key to understanding how body and mind are interconnected and how emotions can be manifested throughout the body. Indeed, the more we know about neuropeptides, the harder it is to think in traditional terms of a mind and a body. It makes more sense to speak of a single integrative entity, a body-mind, end quote. So this is useful in understanding how BMC modalities can aid in healing processes that are more complex, like systemic illness. For example, if somebody is suffering IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, body-mind centering can help the process of releasing emotional attachments from that organ system. And especially because IBS is an emotionally driven physical illness, that is most literally one of the most common expressions of emotions that are living in our organs. The work of body-mind centering can really be really powerful. Another example of illnesses that are emotionally driven, that maybe aren't as systemically connected, but really huge with mental illness, which also is attached to your nervous system. Body image disorders, eating disorders, anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, these are all things that body-mind centering work addresses with movement therapists, and they go in and walk these individuals through these exercises to try to unlock the emotions, triggering and using exercises from the nervous system. And again, these exercises are mostly useful with developmental patterns, so taking the individual or the practitioner through fetal forms, through organ suspension, through developmental patterns like crawling, walking, running, rolling, different things like that, directionality. So between those two things, it's really quite evident that body-mind centering and the research that accompanies it really drives that force towards the somatic healing modality. It's based off of that cultivation of experiential embodiment, and it's designed to address both physical and mental dysbiosis in the body. Its weaknesses lie in the inability to address immediate medical situations and health concerns. Otherwise, though, it's got a lot of strength and a lot of potential to make profound changes when the practitioner is fully committed to that body-mind experience. And their fullness of movement and their fullness of mental clarity and peace can really be fully realized through this work. And it's really near and dear to my heart. It's helped me through a lot of physical things. For the example I used before with IBS is actually something that I have found healing with the work of body mind centering and releasing some of those emotions, using suspension, using grounding, things and forms that go with these principles are really, really powerful work. And I hope that you enjoyed hearing a little bit about it, and have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day.